Chefs, what red flags should people look out for when they go out to eat? If a restaurant has a huge menu, it's all frozen. I'm reminded of those Applebee's commercials where they advertised that their steaks were grilled, not microwaved, implicitly admitting that most of their food is microwaved. When the menus are super dirty and never cleaned, that means everything is super dirty and never cleaned. Waffle House. Ex-Waffle House cook. This is true. The stores where they give a sheet, they follow the Waffle House Bible and clean them. If the area is busy but the restaurant is empty, that's usually a bad sign. Otto. Empty neighborhood and busy place? Usually a hole in the wall place that makes the most fire food. Took me 3 solid minutes to decipher Otto to mean on the other hand. I'm old. Ask where your oysters come from. If they don't know, you don't want them. Works for most seafood. The ocean. Can you be more specific? The Pacific or Atlantic? If a restaurant has a one-page menu, that's usually a pretty good sign. It means their line cooks have become specialists and can usually nail all the dishes listed. Conversely, if a restaurant has a giant, multi-page menu, that's a gigantic red flag. The longer the menu, the better the odds that you're paying to eat a boiled back frozen meal. Cook for a small Mexican restaurant here. I always look for how the staff interact with each other. If they all seem to enjoy being there and coordinate well. More often than not, it's because everything is running smoothly and they have a good system. Which usually means they know what they're doing and you can expect good food. That's how it always is for the smaller, family-run restaurants I frequent anyway. Which I believe always have the best food. Chef here. This is very true. We have an open kitchen, with customers often at the bar within earshot of us. We spend our shifts ripping on each other and generally talking shit. But all in good fun. Customers seem to get a kick out of how we all interact. Like a family. We bicker, talk crap, yell sometimes. But at the end of the day we love each other and run a great kitchen. Pictures of food on the menu that clearly aren't from the restaurant. I designed a menu for a restaurant and left spaces for the pictures. They said they wouldn't send any and told me to take pictures from Google. I have never eaten there. I would like to add I had no idea what some of these dishes were. My favorite was house special. But they didn't know what that would be. I was told to add something nice. I have a family member who's worked in multiple different restaurants. And they always advise me never to get drinks with ice because too many places don't keep their ice machines clean because it's so often overlooked compared to other kitchen equipment. Ran a kitchen. Can confirm. When I started they only cleaned the ice machine and soda machine when black stuff was in the Mountain Dew. While I was there, it was bi-weekly for the ice machine and nightly for the soda machine. Not a chef. But I just took a chance on a restaurant today and the chefs were sitting, legs up, right next to the front door as I walked in. No one but staff and me there. So, according to how my stomach feels, probably that. Dirty stained carpets. I have no idea why anyone would open a restaurant and put carpet down. Carpets are a nightmare to clean and always look dirty after a year of being laid. We have a sushi place where the chef gives you free samples of future dishes. This usually means they take pride in their work and want to see people's reactions before committing it to the menu. There's a Chinese restaurant in my town with a sign out front that says, clean food and fresh. I still can't help but wonder why they would bring that up unprovoked. Maybe they recently immigrated and don't realize how sketchy that sign makes them seem. There's an Asian restaurant in my hometown whose sign advertises ingredients with no other context. Never fails to make me laugh when I see it. If there is different cuisines on the same menu, it usually means it's not gonna be good. I don't trust that people can do Japanese and Italian in the same kitchen. If employees try to argue with you about food quality in order to dissuade you from sending something undercooked back, just leave. It means they have a cook who can't take criticism and your chances at getting a sneezer are greatly increased. Back when my husband and I were dating, We went to a Thai restaurant. Ordered broccoli and noodles, and when the dish arrived, we saw there were lots of black specks all over. Looked closer and they were aphids. Grossed out. We called the waiter over. He took a look and tried to argue with us that it was black pepper, not aphids. Dude. There were obvious legs and wings. He wouldn't budge, so we walked out and never went back. I've worked in restaurants for over a decade. A couple years in the kitchen and the rest as FOP. If your server's response to "how is the item" seems disingenuous, that's a big red flag. We know what goes on in the kitchen. We know the complaints. And we know which items to stress over when we deliver them. Servers who pause or seem uncomfortable with that question generally equates to a menu full of stuff we wouldn't eat even as a free shift meal. A good sign is when servers hang out and eat at the restaurant post shift. Generally we are getting a discount but not free food. If we are spending our nightly tips on it, it's worth it. Edit. Whoa. Thanks for gold, kind stranger. Not a chef. Front of the house. When my boss, the owner, used to host and people would complain to her about the hour wait on Saturday night at 7 PM and then threaten to leave, she would tell them, if the restaurant you choose does not have a wait on a Saturday night, you may not want to eat there. And then turn her biggest sheet-eating grin on them. Can I add you to the list? If you walk into a restaurant and hear Gordon Ramsay yelling at the staff, you probably want to leave. Unless it's one of Gordon's restaurants, of course. Waitress here. If you see any food coming out that's messy and there's sauce all over the rim of the plate, etc., it's likely to mean that the chefs aren't putting much effort into their meals and they therefore will not be very good. All the chefs at my work find it so important that everything is presented well, and I agree. So if they miss something, I'll check the plates and point it out, which they always appreciate as it reflects well on them. Blood on the vegetables. That's bad. Just a little iron supplement. Don't worry about that. Stay away from buffet and salad bars. A lot of the time it is the same stuff that just gets refilled over and over. Super gross. Now that I know. My middle school used to have a salad bar and I rarely ate from there. While it was nice to have a salad bar, it was really gross. Sometimes they used bare hands to put the food in. The first thing they told us in culinary school when you're learning the basic rules for food safety standards is if you enter a seafood restaurant and smell fish, leave. Remember, the specials always look and sound great. Most likely a leftover. Trying to get rid of it. Did it myself as a chef for years. Even if it is stuff that's about to go off, I find that specials are something that most of the time get extra love. The chef that's coming up with it will have some creative freedom to make something that they want to make and put in extra effort to make something delicious. That's from my experience anyways. I recently went to a newish barbecue place. I knew the moment I opened the menu it was going to be awful. The place had at least 120 things on the menu that run the gamut from burgers to lobster thermidor. When you see that, you know it's going to be terrible. It means they are trying to do everything rather than focusing on a smaller range of things and doing it very well. As I suspected, it was terrible. Me realizing the 24-hour diner up the street has every red flag ever. But not caring because they have the best omelets and the best patty melts, and I can get both together for under $10, plus the waitress will tell me how much her co-workers suck, so I get a little entertainment too. Businesses with a bunch of signed specials out front. Lunch special. $4.99. Free appetizer from 5 to 8 PM weekdays. BOGO main course Wednesdays all day. That kind of thing. Usually means they're going under and are trying to drum up business. Unless they're a chain. Regular lunch dinner restaurants that start to offer brunch. Number 1, brunch service is the worst. Chefs hate it. And are usually disgruntled. Number 2, brunch is a moneymaker. Companies charge over the top for thin pancakes and orange juice with a splash of $4 champagne. Sudden brunch means the place is trying to make more money. Charging double and using chefs that don't want to be there. Reviews where the owner is arguing with the reviewer. I saw an argument on Yelp where a lady complained her chopstick or something was moldy and gave them 1 star. While it was super unfair to give a 1 star over something they didn't do, the owner got into it with her and they started fighting on Facebook. Owners that are willing to yell at people who are spending their money are likely to treat their staff the same or worse. Meaning their employees are either pissed, or the turnover is high and no one is trained well. Edit, spelling. Not a chef but one that makes me keep driving past is a sign saying "and a new management," or something similar. It means the business has already failed, at least once, and either a new owner has come in thinking they'll be able to cut corners better than the last owner, or it's the same owner trying to save face by saying someone new is in charge when there isn't. Steer clear of these places. Edit, so I realized I was overly harsh with my initial comment and some of the replies had some good points about how these signs could actually lead to positive changes. I was definitely speaking from my own experiences from restaurants that have done this and also ones that my friends have shared in the past. I still believe more often than not there won't be significant changes done to improve these places, and that while some people truly mean well, others are just trying to put lipstick on a pig. Cockroaches lurking around the place. If you see one, there's bound to be more hiding somewhere. Where the hell have you eaten? Obligatory not a chef. My grandfather was a long-haul trucker and always told me on road trips to look for the places truckers congregate. They all talk to each other and will find the best places along the highways. It's worked out for me so far. Edit, so in response, this is for greasy spoon places and I don't count gas stations. Also, this advice was given a few decades ago, so things have probably changed since. Still find pretty tasty. Horrible for you food, though. This is late but I clean kitchen exhaust systems. If you walk in a restaurant and can smell grease, walk out. That means the place isn't clean. From the exhaust system to cooking equipment. We clean some places where grease drips off the hoods onto cooking surfaces. Edit, for my first ever post this blew up. Thank you all. Not a chef but worked in food a lot. Carpet. Yeah, it's quieter and doesn't get slick, but it is one of the most disgusting things I've ever seen. I saw them pull it up when they remodeled and put in more carpet. Vacuuming only goes so far in a restaurant and I know they never ever shampooed it. Pastry chef here. As much as people say avoid specials, I can't speak for everyone, but at least in desserts, breakfast pastries, if you see something new it's worth trying. Chances are it's something the chef has been working on for weeks on their own time. There's a lot of love and effort put into it. Also, the standby if the menu is a book. It's probably not great. The biggest thing to keep an eye on OMO is the staff. If there's pissed off people, get out as fast as you can obviously. If everyone is kinda apathetic and not talking to each other much, get out. That's also a shitty environment. Everyone is probably really passive aggressive, and that's going to show. If people seem genuinely good with being there even if it's busy or if there's playful ragging going on, that's where you want to be. The better the staff gets along, the better everything in the place runs.